chug some beers and make some bad gambling picks. Welcome to ChuggieBets.
In the country, right? Florida State's playing Southern Mississippi. And in the 50-point route that you performed on USM, you looked awful. You looked terrible. The offense was bad. I don't know if Johnny Wilson has hands or like those mini trampolines, that things like you have a tennis, like slam ball that you play at the beach, because I don't think he caught a ball all day, and he had like 7 thrown his way.
Trampolines? I thought you were going to go with the Velcro things.
No, the opposite of the Velcro.
The opposite of Velcro.
Teflon hand.
He
I
was
like
terrible.
slam ball hands. That's a good.
We needed 4 fourth down conversions on one drive to score. It was just a bad outing. And my favorite part is we kicked the shit out of them. But it's like, I can't think of a day where you win by 50. I guess Clemson had one of those days too. But you win by 50 and you lose Heisman credibility. I think Jordan Travis may have lost his Heisman this weekend. And that makes me sad.
Yeah. Dude, I think you're right, because he threw about 20 incomplete passes. He only completed 50% of his passes, but like 12 of them were drops. He should have completed 75+% of his passes.
I expected it to be a little bit of a hangover, right? Because you played off a short week. You had a lot of emotion that LSU game. You have Southern Miss, and then the ACC starts. But I don't know. I mean, Sunshine, you're a passionate Seminole fan here. Did you have a different read than I did?
Really, I just all thought it was Johnny Wilson just dropping passes. I mean, they were catchable.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they weren't like, oh, he could have caught it, maybe not. No, these were passes that were hitting him in the hands. And those little trampolines he has, they were just like bouncing off of that. It was frustrating to watch, especially because that guy, like I consider him to be kind of like he's great size, great athlete, I thought.
He is a great athlete.
He's still a great athlete, but like I don't know. It was disappointing to see that come out of him, and it sucks that actually hurt Travis's Heisman hopes. But to be honest with you, I'm just glad that we're winning.
Hell yeah, brother. And it's not about that. And one of my favorite parts of the week is the amount of freshman snaps. I don't know if you've heard this drama that the University of Miami is spreading about how Florida State takes all these kids from the transfer portal, and high school kids shouldn't go there because you'll never get a chance to play. It's like Norvell. Norvell started freshman wide receivers this week, so clearly that message has been received at Florida State. And Gabby Marudia and all these guys from 24/7 Sports, which I love 24/7 Sports, the best college reporting out there, better than Rivals or anywhere else. But it's dog shit, because I'd love to see how many true freshmen played for Miami this week. Not those transfers that are all across the offensive and defensive line. And clearly the message was received, because the freshman snaps were like in the 300s this week against USM, which is a game you should do it. But that message was well received in Tallahassee, and they're trying to reverse the narrative there for sure. College football, I love it. It's the pettiest sport on the planet. This and English soccer.
Much into the Miami coach and the FSU coach going back and forth about their recruiting, or like it's not even the coaches really saying it. It's like guys on message boards saying it. It's
been clearly resonated. I've heard this message from several different sources. So clearly it's
several different guys on Reddit.
No. From like people who podcast, like people who are close to the program.
Yeah, but we podcast and we're guys on Reddit.
We're talking about credible podcasts.
Yeah, not us.
I think Danny has one little point in that I do think the actual players who are making these decisions on where to play are living in a very different world than pundits, fans, coaches. Like, they may consider that more of a important thing, an important aspect to recruiting, but I think kids these days are like, I'm gonna go where I can play. There's lots of options, and
they're gonna go where they
and
get
even
paid.
Even if I don't, I can jump ship the next year after my first year.
They're gonna go where they get paid.
So I don't think like long-term plans for whether they're gonna be able to be a 4-year starter at a school is as important as I think.
Dude, these kids are 17 making these decisions. They're going based on like 3 things, like where they think the prettiest girls are, what color the jerseys are, and who gives them the most money.
I don't know. It seems like an orchestrated smear campaign. Very political of them. Very, very political.
So that was kind of
the same message has been on display everywhere.
all kidding aside, the decisions they're making it off of really are more like, does this offense fit my style of play and shit like that. It's not. It really has like what Manny or
Yeah, they
whatever
pick
these other
coaches,
message
right?
board guys are
You
trying to
follow
say
the
is like
coaches.
Norvell can't develop talent. It's not that you're not going to get an opportunity to play because he brings people in. It's that Norvell can't develop talent. That's that message that they're trying to say. You're not going to develop your skills under him. And that's just patently absurd. So nobody's going to believe that because every player that's going to college thinks that he's going to develop on his own, and the coaches and what develops his talent.
Yeah, I mean,
Just
players.
It's
players,
dumb. It's dumb. It's dumb to even like give it any credence.
I know. I'm just saying I'm enjoying the political, or I'm enjoying the banter, and I love the politics of college football because it's so dumb. Speaking of
Honestly, I
politics,
like that people are kind of talking about Miami and FSU because we're
Hell
kind of
yeah.
relevant teams this early in the season still. This is great. You're a relevant team this year. We seem like we might be.
we get to pretend to be until we get our ass whooped.
Yeah,
By
you haven't
Florida
had your
State,
min-
probably.
Yeah, by
your Middle
Florida
Tennessee State game yet.
No, it's coming up. It's
Yeah.
coming up. We got Bethune-Cookman this week, baby.
Yep.
did you guys see Elastico this weekend? Greatest name in college football history. The
I can't
Iowa
believe I
football.
went my entire college football watching live without ever hearing the word Elastico because it is hilarious.
It is
And-
great.
And it lived up to the billing. But did you see like DeSantis and Trump in the crowd? They're doing that Iowa caucus circuit. So they're all just
Yeah.
like smiling. Everyone in the background just like, hey, fuck you, man. Like the pictures from the scene of everyone giving them the finger was hilarious. And it was political parties from across the board. So everyone was getting the fuck you. But it was just, it made me laugh. It's like, we can all unify here in college football and hate politicians. I love it.
While we're talking
I
about
do hate
this,
politicians.
is there another rivalry that would be better suited for the name El Assico? Because like Iowa and
No.
Iowa State are both like relatively relevant most of the time.
Yeah,
I
well,
feel like
The
Illinois
Wisconsin,
Northwestern
who
would
did
be a
Wisconsin
better-
play this
no,
weekend?
but I mean, it's got to be shitty teams with big brands.
No, it's shitty football that you have to see. Was it who did Wisconsin play last week? It was
Washington State.
yes, Washington State, Wisconsin. When they play, that's El Assico. It's not that big of a rivalry. It's a lot of punting, not that much
Boo.
offense.
No, it's got to be a big rivalry. Otherwise, you can't give it a name. Like you don't want to call something that happens once every decade.
Okay, so
Vanderbilt,
it's
Tennessee.
UConn UMass then. It's UConn UMass.
Oh, UConn
be
UMass.
that.
So good.
You know who plays this week?
UConn
New
UMass?
Mexico State at New Mexico.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's a
that's
good
like
one.
Elastico Jr.
Elastico Senior. Far more Elastico.
El Astiquito.
All right. Well, welcome to ChuggieBets College Football Edition. It is week 3 of the college football season. I'm Andy. That's Sunshine. That's Danny. That's Al. That's Matt. We're going to give you some great picks. But before we do, let's chug a beer.
Yeah. 9/11 Moonlight.
Oh yeah,
No, it is. It is. It is.
never forget.
Oh, all right.
That's actually a good pivot into DraftKings.
Bush Light was born on
They did,
January 21st.
DraftKings had to issue an apology for doing a 9/11 sponsored promotion for same game parlay
Yeah.
for the
Twin
or not
Towers?
same game for Yankees, Jets, and I don't know, Mets all to win tonight.
I'm more offended that they're promoting these ass parlays that are terrible value
Yeah.
for everyone. That's what
Correct.
offends me. Don't
Oh,
bet these
would you
parlays, guys.
expect a sports book to promote a bet that's great value for everyone, Andy?
I mean, they make enough money off just like gambling. You don't
These
have to
deals
like.
are so
So,
hot,
honestly,
they can melt
Andy,
steel beams.
Speaking of which, let's go over last week's records. We had Sunshine
I had more
in the
9/11 jokes to make.
again.
Sorry.
Congratulations, Chris. 5-0, won your chuggy bet. That brings you to 10-2 on the season, my friend. That's going to mean 2 beers you can give out today. And do you have any words that you'd like to share with us mere mortals?
No, I'm going to keep it all to myself.
That's actually smart.
Smart
that's a
man.
good move,
That's
good
awful
move.
sober of you.
Smart man. Make sure you give out your 2 beers this week. Al also has 1 beer to give out because he also won his chuggy bet. Does anybody have any more topics that we wanted to cover before we get into the picks?
So we were talking about things that happened in poor taste today. Erling Haaland had an accidental tweet that I don't think was on purpose, but Twitter got their panties in a twist. It was him flying through the air, hitting like a bicycle kick, and then he tweeted it with an airplane on the side, and he called himself like Erling or something. It was It was a little cringy, but I think Twitter made it way worse than it was.
You're not even
Okay.
allowed to talk about airplanes
Twitter
today.
making something
Like
way
just
worse than
saying
it is.
airplane today gets you canceled. That's bullshit.
Oh,
Like
you can't cancel. Hold on.
guys, I'm sitting in a building.
Andy, what the fuck?
Cancel
He's
me.
not American. He plays in England. Like he could make airplane
He's from
comments
the
anytime.
Netherlands, right?
He's from Norway.
If you're not from Saudi Arabia or the U.S., you are free to talk about airplanes, buildings, and fires, but probably not all in the same sentence.
I feel like Canadians should at
On
least be
9/11.
like they should pretend for us.
I mean, they could maybe save their like airplane jokes for tomorrow. You know, if they had one lined up, in the can. Oh.
Speaking of jokes, Danny, you had a college football joke.
Yeah, I did not. I couldn't tell if it was as dumb as it sounded. It was. I can't even remember it off the top of my head. Why don't Aggies eat M&Ms? They're too difficult to peel.
I think that's funny.
It's funny, but it's as dumb as it sounds,
I
right?
don't understand it. What is this?
I think it's saying that Aggies are so dumb they think you have to peel your M&Ms.
Yes,
like, to get
it's
to the
that
chocolate
dumb.
inside. Yeah,
I think I don't think there's anything deeper than that. But then I was
don't think
asking,
so.
like, is there a pun that I'm missing here? Like, there's something with Aggie and peeling, or is it literally just that funny that they're just like Aggies are so stupid they think you have to peel an M&M?
I think that's it. Matt, you had something you wanted to go over before we get into picks, right?
Yeah, I just want to give some love to the ACC and the Pac-12, right? I heard about this SEC thing. Like everyone was saying how good this like SEC, like it means more, but it doesn't seem to be meaning more because the ACC is 4-1 against the SEC, right? The lone loss being Virginia against Tennessee.
Ooh, Virginia.
Look, Virginia is really competing hard to be the worst team in Power 5 college football. And my God, watching Northwestern this week, I think they got it. I think Virginia is going to be the worst. They are super bad. And the Pac-12, guys, 8 ranked teams for a conference that's going under. They look pretty damn strong. I'm really impressed with the not SEC. I think the SEC has played themselves into a situation where they're only going to be a one playoff bid league. And that's really fun. That's going to open the doors for some other teams this year, maybe 2 in the Big Ten, maybe the Pac-12 and the ACC can represent at the same time. There could be some excitement. So good for them and fuck the SEC.
If
Right?
the SEC's non-conference schedule continues the way that it started, and then they beat up on each other, they might end up losing their supreme reputation, and the Big Ten might take over, or even
I think they are.
even the Big 12.
What is that?
I would love
It's
for
not gonna be the
the
ACC.
SEC powerhouse, like the reign of terror, to be over. That'd be great.
I mean, it could be the ACC if like Miami is actually back, but like we're not.
We'll see. You guys, you want to talk Miami really quick? I think Miami beat the Texas A&M way worse than the score indicated. If you don't give up some dumb points early in the game with the blocked punt, that game is a rout.
Dude, it wasn't just the block punt. It was a block punt and a muff punt. They had 2 touchdowns where they only had to go 17 yards total to be up. They were up 14-3 or something at one point.
But that's also not like I think when most teams do that, you're like, oh, that was a fluke. But with Miami, it's like
not just Miami. Miami does that, but like
but
Mario does
like
that
most
too.
Games.
So like Mario does that and Miami does that. When our worlds collide, it's going to happen to us pretty much every game.
Yeah. But yeah, Miami they looked really good.
Offense looked great. The thing that intrigued me the most was that we were willing to throw the ball when the run got stopped, which is not usually a Mario thing. He's usually just going to keep, diving the ball in between the guards over and over and over again because that's how he wants to play. And we just threw the ball really, really, really well. He's like, oh, we have one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. Let's, use him.
This is a lame term I like to use, but your offensive coordinator pencil whipped the defensive coordinator at Texas A&M. He really did. I thought it was masterful game calling, and I thought Texas A&M, DJ Durkin, I think is his name, he sucks. He's a bad defensive coordinator anyways, and he's just like a name, right? And he was just a name on Saturday. He got worked.
He's there to be the guy that gets fired at the end of the season so that Jimbo can get another season.
Jimbo gets one more. If I can talk for a minute, I want to talk about the Texas-Alabama game.
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
That was the one I really enjoyed watching that. It was, I mean, I really feel like Texas, they had their way with Alabama. I'm not going to say they dominated Alabama. I'm going to say, though, they like imposed their will on them, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
They really controlled the field the whole time. I was impressed, and they snapped Bama's home winning streak.
Hell yeah.
The throw that Quinn Ewers had, I don't remember the receiver's name, but I was watching it on the quad box where we had the McAfee stream where he was interviewing what's his face? All right. McConaughey. He was interviewing McConaughey during the throw. So I was getting his like play-by-play and reaction to the throw while I was watching the throw. It was kind of a joy to see that happen. I mean, it was like a 50-yard dime by Ewers. That was a great throw.
Yeah.
That was a moon ball straight up in the
Also-
air, and I can't believe it came down.
Bama looks like shit, and I don't think it's Jalen Milroe's fault.
No,
Ooh,
it's
Like,
not.
I think
Oh,
he
they
looks
just
pretty
look
good. I think he's as advertised, which is
They
to
did not
say
look like
he's
shit.
going to miss plays, but he's going to make more than he misses.
Let's
And I think it's the rest of the offense and particularly the defense that is holding that
Like-
team back.
like Alabama looked like a really, really awesome Auburn team. All right, they
Oh,
They-
Alabama fans are going to love that comparison.
what I'm saying is that like they look like shit for a Saban team, but they did not look like shit for like if Miami looked like that, we'd be like, oh, this is Miami's back. Miami's all the way back. If they looked like Alabama did yesterday.
I disagree. I think Jalen Milroe was the problem in that game. I think you can see the drop off when you don't have a damn top pick at quarterback, and that's what it looks like, right?
Oh,
can be
you mean
really
like
good.
Jalen Hurts, or who is one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league, or Tua Tagovailoa, who will be one of the top paid quarterbacks in the league, or Bryce Young, who was drafted number 1 overall?
That's exactly what he's saying.
Bryce
Those are the
Young-
last three. Those are their last three, right?
Yeah,
I
it
didn't
makes a
miss
big
anybody?
difference. Bryce
Yeah.
Young is great.
Mac Jones.
Mac
Yeah.
Jones
Oh
also.
yeah, he was
considered-
a first round pick.
I think so, like 15th, something like that.
I think it shows the difference there, and I think really the margin was that Texas controlled the ball at the end. They ran like a 6-minute drive to end that game. It was awesome, and they like imposed their will, but they had the flexibility because Quinn Ewers is fucking awesome.
And they
He's
don't have
awesome.
who's their running back now? Because they don't have BJ anymore, right? They have a new guy. I didn't catch him, but he made some plays. I don't remember his name.
The freshman Cedric Baxter is really good, but he wasn't like the main catalyst. I didn't catch the running back's name. There's too many college football players.
Yes, can't remember
So-
them all.
This might be like an off-the-air conversation, but I've been wanting to ask you guys how you feel about me starting some beef, because you all know I have no problem with confrontation. With me starting some beef with some other sports bettors on TikTok, because there's a guy, and I'm not going to say his name here, but he came out before that game and he said, normally I preach bankroll management, but unload your entire account on Alabama. Texas doesn't have a quarterback. And I just want to be like, Texas doesn't have, like, this guy doesn't watch college football.
No,
Like, if you want to bet Alabama, that's fine. But to say that Texas doesn't have a quarterback, your third string
He
is
must
the
have-
highest rated recruit in years.
Yeah,
right?
and
Like-
he must have been buying into the Samson cut his hair theory, like all
Maybe.
in. He must have been all in on the Samson cut his hair because
Or
Quinn
when you
Ewers
have
was
too
like a
many
top 5
quarterbacks, you
quarterback.
don't have one, except when they're all really good.
But Quinn Ewers was a top 5 quarterback last year. He would have been the
Yeah.
number 1 overall pick if he came out last year.
Just asinine. So I'm going to start some TikTok beef if everybody's
Do
good
it.
with it. But we'll have that
Do
part of
it.
the conversation offline.
Yeah,
Yeah,
actually,
yeah.
who said that? Out of my
No.
podcast,
Don't give him
fucking
any
kick
credit.
loser.
Don't give him any credit.
It's got to be Trent.
Oh,
It wasn't.
God, that guy sucks.
I
He's
love
so
Trent.
bad though. He did empty his account on Alabama too, and he was sitting in the stands crying like after the whole stadium was empty. It's unbelievable how good he is at getting picks wrong.
No, but there's
Trent tiers are so good. Trent tiers are so good.
I think he does it on purpose. I think he likes shame porn so much. Like
But
watching
even if
him
he
lose
does, he's
brings eyes.
exceptionally good at picking losers.
I think he posts 2 videos and then promotes the losing video and deletes the other one.
No, because I saw him pick Alabama before the game.
Okay.
So
He's not very good at his job.
That's
Well,
not
actually,
his job.
he
His
is
job
good at
is
his
running
job.
his job is running a gambling website.
yeah.
A social gambling website.
Yeah, he does that
So-
pretty well.
Well, actually,
I got a couple more
plug in.
things before we
Yeah.
jump into the picks. Matt, if you mentioned a few minutes ago, you mentioned Northwestern. We have two things that we've been tracking on this show, and one of them has sadly come to an end. We told you before the season it was 600 plus days since Northwestern had won a football game in the United States. They had won one in Ireland, but that was it. And they won this weekend in the United States. So I don't know if we have that final number, but I did just want to, pour one out for that streak that we were
I think
counting.
it
It
was
gave me a lot of joy, and it's now
648
dead.
when we recorded this.
Yeah, I'm going to pull up those numbers and go through that. But
Northwestern.
was-
Who they beat?
UTEP,
UTEP. That's right. Okay.
I was super wrong about Northwestern packing it in. Look, I didn't watch the game, but everything I heard is they played pretty well. Like, they actually look like they have a competent offense. Now, that Rutgers game tells a very different story. So I don't know how to index them going forward, but kudos. And I was wrong. You guys, good on y'all. I think it's close to 700 days, but I'm going to get the final count now.
I was wrong on that too. I think I had UTEP -1 or something, but and then the other thing that we have been tracking on this show
Oh, Lord.
is the number of points that Iowa scores per week. I believe the number is 25 that they need per week. And in week 1, I believe they got 25, but we all
24.
kind of said
24.
24.
We all kind of said you got to get more than that when you're playing the non-conference schedule.
Mm-hmm.
This week, does anybody know what it was?
20.
20.
20 against Iowa State. Now, Iowa State's a step up in competition, but
Not really on
Oh.
defense though. They're more.
They
of an
aren't they like 4 touchdown favorites over Western Michigan this week?
something like that.
That's
Oh, this is Brian Ferentz Super Bowl.
Yeah, he needs to put up 50.
He needs 50 points.
They will not be taking the starters out on offense. And he's going to have to just go to the other coach and be like, man, we just can't. We're not going to score against Michigan, all right? We're going for 12 against Michigan.
The rest of the schedule is going to be tough for Iowa to score because, I mean, the team I've been disappointed with, and I'm sorry, Eddie, is Illinois' defense I thought was going
Yeah,
to show a
not
lot
good.
more heart, and it's
You're
been bad, like back-to-back weeks. So they may get some points there. You may be able to adjust them up. You need a 50 burger this week, Brian. You need 50 points. I don't care. You know what they need to do? They need to play riskier defense that turn into pick six. By the way, one of the touchdowns was a pick six. I think that's important to note here. So Brian Ferentz offense only did manage 13 points.
still counts.
But you need to play riskier defense so you could get more pick sixes. I think that's the key to keeping Brian Ferentz's job. Not better offense. No, that's ridiculous. But
Illinois' defense has looked weak exactly where we thought it would. They have not been able to replace the cornerback at all. With Witherspoon, is it? something like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, he was the number 5 overall pick, but we lost 2 others, another first-round pick and then like a second or third-round pick.
Yeah, and their
Um,
secondary was super weak yesterday when we were watching the game. It was, or not yesterday, on Friday night.
Yeah, the only show in town, and it was awful.
Yeah,
693 days, by the way. 693 days. Almost made it to 700 days. Almost made it to 100 weeks. 99 weeks ago from that game, they won a game in the United States. They're
That
so
is
close.
excellent. And so pour one out to the streak. But you know what they say, when one streak dies, another one begins. It has now been 2 days since Northwestern has won a game in the United States. And it could be a while before the next one.
I think so. I think we may have another 360.
Oh, another streak died over the weekend. It had been 15 years since Alabama had lost a non-conference game, and now it's been 2 days since Alabama has lost a non-conference game. So
I hope that streak continues. I hope they never win another one.
That's too long to go without losing a non-conference game.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they
And they play tough ones. They play
the last
tough
one they
ones.
lost. The last one they lost was like Louisiana Monroe in Saban's first year or something.
There are
like that.
kids who can drive who don't remember seeing Bama lose a non-conference game until this weekend.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. That's a fact. I remember
right.
the Louisiana Monroe loss.
All
As a
right,
Dolphins
let's
fan, I was so happy.
Should we make some picks?
Yeah.
Let's do this. So we've only got one Thursday night game. I've got a pick here. You probably shouldn't watch this. You should probably go watch the Vikings and the Eagles play NFL football. But if you are going to watch this, I like Navy plus 15. Navy's not looked great, but I think 15 is too many points. Navy slows the game down. It's a little easier to keep it close.
I agree. I think that's fine.
Sure.
I'm with you.
All right. We've got 3 games on Friday night. We have picks on at least 2 of them. Matt, you want to take us to Maryland there?
Yeah. I kind of have a rule. I call it the UMass rule. When you identify the weak team, you poke and poke and poke and take advantage of it. So I'm going to lay 14 points with Maryland against Virginia. Maryland is the better team. Maryland is a lot better than Virginia. So I'm going to lay 14 points with Maryland at home in that offense. So, and that's really just a play on how bad Virginia is.
Yeah, on that same note, so I'm sort of switching up my strategies this week. A few picks under 500 on the year so far. I think it's time to focus on some totals. In UVA's first 2 games, they combined for 62 and 71 points. This total's at 49.5. So I'm going to go ahead and take the over there in the hopes that Virginia can match Maryland for half or so and then have Maryland steamroll past this. So that's the hope.
Nice. Al, you want to take us into the next one too?
Yeah, sure. It's Army UTSA, and I'm going to take the Army under. 45.5 is a lot of points for an Army game, I feel like. So under 45.5.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I would lean that same way, but I'm kind of playing it differently. I'm taking Army plus 11.5. We have a lower scoring game. It's easier to cover that total. Similar to my principal taking Navy on Thursday night. I support the troops. So,
yeah, there you go.
Speaking of supporting the troops, Matt, what do you got for us in that last Friday game?
Yeah, this is just a lean. I think Air Force is a lot better than Utah State. On Friday night in Colorado, I do think Air Force is the team here. I would probably lay the 9.5. I'm not sure if I'm going to do this for real, but that would be my thought here. I know the early Sagarin numbers are probably against this, but the other trend numbers look a lot better for this. So, like the more active trend numbers show Air Force has value. So that would be my thought process there.
Yeah.
Nice. Before we get into Saturday, let's go back. Apologies, Danny. I think I missed your pick on Thursday night. You got to play there?
Yeah, I got under 47.5 in the Navy-Memphis game. Is the same thing as you, just playing a different way. Same thoughts as you, just playing a different way. That's all.
Nice.
Also, I'm probably going to play the over in the Miami Bethune-Cookman game, but I haven't seen an actual number. But I like Miami to score points.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, so into Saturday. First game up is LSU at Mississippi State. Matt, what do you got for us there?
Yeah, I think this is a good matchup for Mississippi State, oddly enough. LSU's first real road trip. I know the neutral site was probably Florida State-centric, but Stark Vegas is a tough place to play. I kind of like the resolve that Mississippi State showed. They did not cover last week, even though I thought they did. I think this is a great opportunity. 10 feels like too many points.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm with you on that one. I'm also taking the 10 points with Mississippi State. So
I also feel like a lot of people are going to be betting LSU as like a get-right spot here, but playing in Stark is not easy. Mississippi State has an offense that can still give LSU fits, and LSU's offense is prone to mistakes. So all of that makes for a nice little tasty recipe.
Nice. Next, we've got Penn State traveling to Champaign to take on the Fighting Illini. I hate this pick. Don't follow me on this, but my numbers showed value at 15.5. Illinois' defenses looked really bad. We already covered this earlier. We don't need to talk about it too much, but I will not be watching this. I will be at Epcot, but hopefully they can keep it close, and I'll check the score when I get home.
What country do you think you'll be in at noon?
Noon,
All right.
Probably not getting to the countries yet. I'm guessing with kids, because you're bringing the kiddos, you're going to be still doing rides, and you have not entered the You don't have girls, right? So you're not going to be trying to get to Norway right away.
I haven't been to Epcot in 20 years, so I don't even know.
Do your boys love Anna and Elsa?
They do, actually.
Okay, so you're gonna have to try and get to Norway early. So you might be doing countries early then.
Well, like,
But yeah, you might have to get back to Test Track because like I'm a Disney pro.
Oh.
I could do a whole fucking podcast on Disney. All right, let's move on.
Because you're like Epcot rides. I'm like, the whole thing of Epcot is the countries. I don't even know about rides, and I've been there half a dozen times. So yeah, Danny's more well versed.
All right, so that's my homer pick. In the Florida State Boston College game, Chris, you've got a pick for us there.
We're going over. That's it. Going over. Whatever the number is, I wrote it down already. 48.5. I'm going over. I think FSU is just going to score points.
Yeah, I think that's probably just the safer play, to be honest, when I think about this. I'm taking Boston College plus 25.5. This is the old red bandana game for BC. It's basically the Super Bowl. FSU, sort of a get right spot for them to kind of right the ship a little bit. But hopefully Boston College can keep pace a little bit. So they either FSU stumbles a bit, which I think is less likely, or BC maybe is able to cover a big number there.
All right. I didn't get to chime in with this earlier, but I'm going to chime in now. Al just called this a get right spot for Florida State. They won.
We need to get right
last week. Like, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
And they would have won by 70 if is it Wilson that dropped all those balls?
I don't care.
I guess my point is,
you're not allowed to complain.
FSU probably feels like they've left a lot of points on the board.
Can I argue the counter side? Clemson's next week. This may be a look ahead spot if you want to talk about the other side of that. Also, Al, there's a bunch of 26.5 out there, so get yourself one of those instead of.
Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. 26.5.
But
I almost bet this. My numbers told me that I should, and I didn't because I was just thinking about the LSU game.
You're a coward. You're a
Florida
coward.
State beat LSU by, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was 21, right? Yeah. And LSU is way better than Boston College. So, like,
aren't they?
I don't know.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
They are. Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll bet it, but that is what my number said to take. So I like it.
Yeah. Okay.
Chris, what do you got for us next in Kansas State, Missouri?
Once again, I'm going with the over, and at over 48. And I'm actually locking in another bold one for the next one, but I'm going all overs this week.
Okay. I like your adventurous strategy.
Yeah, it's funny. I saw Georgia Southern was the next game up, and I'm like, Chris doesn't have a bet on this?
Chris was absolutely the Georgia whisperer this past week, and not just the Georgia Bulldogs, all Georgia teams. He had picks on all of them, and he crushed it. So
all Georgia teams covered spreads last week. Actually, that's a very fun stat. Every Georgia team that Chris bet on, they covered the spread.
Oh man, that was really luck.
Sorry, I just need to interject. I think the Jets have found their quarterback. His name is Zach Wilson.
Oh, wow.
They've got a 3-point lead with 2 minutes to go.
This is good news, by the way, especially if Aaron Rodgers is hurt long term, because we need the Bills to lose this game, and the Jets will go back to being the Jets.
It's inevitable.
Inevitable.
All right,
inevitable.
Just real quick to sum that up for any of our listeners, Sunshine had 3 back-to-back overs. Was over 48.5 in Florida State, Boston College, over 48 in Kansas State, Missouri, and over 64.5 in Georgia Southern, Wisconsin.
Oh yeah, that was a tough one, but I'm going to pull the trigger on that.
It's a big number.
Like it.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love taking large number overs and
small number unders.
Where the money is.
I've said it here a million times. Nothing gets the blood to your loins than rooting for punts in like an aggressive fashion. To stay under 29.5.
Like you're cursing out teams for picking up first downs. Great.
Absolutely. All right, Danny, what do you got for us in Louisville, Indiana?
I think I got an under in that game. Yeah,
you do.
So that's what I'm doing. Basically, I just Matt taught me about a new website, Sagarin, and I found a bunch of unders in the 30s that he was predicting, and it was like I think the under was in the 50s for that game, and I was like, that's too big a spread, so I'm gonna Yeah, so that's a whole lot of points. So I'm going to take the under and see if I can find some value.
Nice.
I like it.
Speaking of value, Wake Forest is going into Old Dominion. Old Dominion is a 14.5-point dog. I'm taking the points. Old Dominion getting more than 2 touchdowns. Old Dominion last year was better than people thought, and Wake Forest hasn't really played anybody yet without Sam Hartman. So I'm taking Old Dominion to keep it close.
I like it.
Yeah, I like
it a
that.
lot.
Yeah. I think people still, or at least like the public, still sees Old Dominion and they go, "What the hell is Old Dominion? They're gonna get their asses kicked." And then you realize they're actually like a pretty competent team.
Is that a trucking company, country band? No,
It is a country band. They're good.
it's a trucking
It is a
company.
trucking
too.
company. Yeah. All right. Last noon game, Iowa State, Ohio. Alan, Danny, you guys have the same pick here. Al, why don't you kick us off?
Under 45. Iowa State, stinky. Ohio, not good. Or not good yet, at least. So, yeah.
I think Iowa State's offense is still going to be in shambles after El Assico. I actually was on this pick before. I looked at the website, and I showed value on that one too. So, yeah, I like the pick. Telling Al,
Also-
but I got it at less value than he did.
Also, I want to be clear. Last week, we all liked FAU playing Ohio. That was because we thought Curtis Rourke was out. When he comes back, he's considerably better. Kind of like, I don't know what the spread is. If Ohio is the dog, that may be something to consider to sprinkle a little cash on straight up. I don't know what the spread is, but I would consider that because he makes them a far better team when Curtis Rourke is available. And we ate shit on it because
it's Iowa State minus 2.5.
I'd probably play a money line there also if you want to get a little more spicier.
Nice. All right, heading into 2 p.m., UMass is going into Eastern Michigan. I'm laying the points with Eastern Michigan. UMass is definitely improved from their bottom a year or two ago, but they're still not this good. Eastern Michigan at home is going to beat them by more than double digits.
I almost said on that green turf, which sounds really dumb, but they have a fake green turf. So that's all. Great, very useful information I'm giving you all the time.
All right, and then Matt, you've got to pick 2:30 Central Michigan, Notre Dame.
Yeah, Notre Dame looked amazing this past weekend. They had explosive plays. I haven't seen Notre Dame have explosive. I think they had 10 explosive plays of over 30 yards per play. The other 55 plays they had were like 2 yards or worse, which that doesn't matter, right? Explosive plays really matter in the game, and they ended up kicking the crap out of a really good NC State defense, right? Next week, Notre Dame plays Ohio State. They go to the Horseshoe. This just looks like one of those spots where they're going to try to get up by halftime. They're going to take their foot off the gas and bring in the reserves so they can rest them and get ready for Ohio State. I like plus 33.5 with Central Michigan.
I don't like that pick because I think Notre Dame's trying to get their boy a Heisman.
Even still, I don't think mercy, run ruling necessarily helps in that position. And 33.5 is a huge number.
You know what helps in that position? Inflating your stats.
Yeah, he's had good stats. I think he could have.
And getting him 7 touchdowns against Central Michigan will help.
We'll see. I think that what's more important is beating Ohio State next week to winning a Heisman.
Yeah, he needs to do that too. Also, I feel like we haven't seen Notre Dame have a quarterback this good ever.
Dude,
Brady Quinn wasn't this good. Sam Howell we knew was really good forever. We've known he was really good forever, but he's so much better than anybody we've ever seen wear those stupid fucking ugly helmets.
He's really great. The running game and their defense is good, legit good. Notre Dame is usually overranked. I think they're underranked. I think what are they 8 or 9? That seems too low.
I think they're properly ranked.
You want to play a game? Who's the most back? Can I interrupt and play a game of who's the most back right now? Because Notre Dame's back, USC back, Texas back, Miami's back, Florida State's back. Who's the most?
Don't throw us
don't
in
throw
there.
Miami
Don't
in
put
there.
us in the back.
Yeah, that's, come
We
on.
beat a
We
Texas
don't need
A&M is like
to-
bad, man. Come on, they haven't been over 500 in like 3 or 4 years. They're a
You're not
7-7 team. We're not back. We beat a 7-7 team. They win 6 games and beat Alabama, so everybody thinks they're still okay. But like, no, they're crap. We beat a crap team. We barely beat them.
Well, then who's the most
Like,
back?
honestly, I don't think I'd say
Texas.
we're back. if we
Texas
whooped
is the most
dog shit
back.
out of
Texas
FSU.
handily beat Alabama. They're the most back,
I think that's
and they have
deserve
3
their
awesome
flowers.
quarterbacks on their team.
And USC was this good last year, so I'm not going to give it to USC. Notre Dame, Sam Hartman is handsome.
So, Danny, you said Sam Hartman might be the best quarterback they've ever had. I think Joe Montana would like a word.
Since I've been watching college football.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, since we weren't shitting our pants. Well, actually, since we weren't wearing.
No, that was before any of us were born.
Andy, who's the most back though? Who do you think is the most back? I need to know your opinion of the most back.
I mean, it's got to be Texas, right? Like they
Okay,
beat
they're very much
Alabama.
back.
They beat the team. Like for the last 15 years, Alabama has been the team, and they beat them. So I got to go with Texas.
Oh, they're back. baby.
I'm gonna have a colorful argument here. I'm gonna go with Florida State, and
Florida State's back.
but here's why. Because we beat an SEC team twice, 2 years in a row. Like every dog gets a bone occasionally, but man, did we get that bone twice?
You know who didn't beat Alabama last year? Texas. I mean, Quinn
That's a
Ewers
good
died,
point.
and it was a
Good
one-point
point.
game.
How'd you guys do against Florida last year?
We won.
Yeah.
We're super back in the SEC.
Yeah,
It doesn't-
you guys
it doesn't-
should go to the SEC. If you
We're the
guys played in
super
that
most
SEC,
back of the
you guys would
SEC.
sweep the SEC East.
I'm just going to call it right now. Sorry, total tangent, but there's 10 seconds left. Bills are in field goal range to tie the game. I feel like they're going to miss the field goal when they take it.
Ooh.
Just want to be able
I bet
to-
you a
everybody-
Chuggy that they make it.
Everybody, this is live.
Actually,
So
yeah.
we're recording
what?
this with the game.
If they do miss it, I want you to chug a beer.
You actually
I
have
love that.
Chuggies to give out, bud. You
I love
should.
that.
Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening. That is our first half of picks for week 3. We will be back with another pod tomorrow with the rest of the picks for week 3. So like, subscribe, and make sure you get that when it comes out.
Stay tuned to see if Alan chug a beer.
Good night, Ken.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah,
Find out if the
3
Bills
days.
made their field goal on Wednesday.